Wah. Ni howdy. Hello. Happy Saturday. Happy 4th of July. Yeehaw, partner. I want to be a cowboy, baby. Hello. Happy birthday, Burgerland. Bear America. We're calling it Bear America. But hello. How you guys doing? It's a study sesh today. It's been a minute since we've done one of these. I'm excited because I get to learn something that I'm not great at. So it's gonna be a gay old time. Let's scroll up and see who we got here before we get to class. So of course we got Saribot, our rock. We got Owen, hello, Peck School, you got your sticker, Ghosty, you got your sticker, and Gojikins, y'all got your stickers. Nice. Let's see, my screen is filled with corporate propaganda. It's not even good propaganda. Oh hey, ice cream propaganda. Ice cream propaganda is always great propaganda. Unless it's copaganda. South Carolina's gone? I'm gonna need you to explain a little bit more context. I feel like whenever you come in... Hello, Zako. I feel like whenever you come in, it's always something extremely random, and I need a little bit more context. Matthew, hello, you got your sticker. Same with Folk. To get milk? Fugubi, you got your sticker. Hello, happy Independence Day. Indeed. Are you doing art fight? I'm gonna be real with y'all, I don't know what that is. Like, I've heard about it since, like, the 2010s. And, like, I've seen it around, but I still to this day don't know what that actually is. Happy cheeseburger birthday, y'all. Hello, Beans. The gay agenda. Forget Pax Americana. Hello, Pax Hamburgana. Kazuhira Miller, MGS5. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Let's get to class, shall we? Get to class. Hello. Hello. Yeehaw, partner. There's really no reason why I'm wearing this hat other than the fact that it's the 4th of July. You know? The one time that Bear Americans say the date in a non-American way, because usually we would just say July 4th. But no, it's the 4th of July. I remember one time, I forgot who it was, but there was someone who was like, I don't understand why Americans say, like, the month first and then the day. Because, like, wouldn't you just say what you, like, audibly say? So, for example, like, if it's, like, you know, like, the 15th of August, no one says August 15th, and it's like, Americans say August 15th. That's why we use that format. I don't know, I just found it funny. It's like, I don't understand why Americans say this. Just say it, just spell it out like how you would say it.
64 slices of American cheese.
American cheese? No, not the, it's on the magnifying glass. Give it to me, not the magnifying glass. Bean still won't let me buy American cheese. The 64 slices of American cheese. He still won't let me. Yeah, you guys have a knife. Well, let me see what you got there. A knife! No! Let's see, you summon the legs. From what I know, it's a month-long activity organized through the Artfight website, where you create a profile, upload art of your OCs, and you can attack other people. Oh, you know what? That's probably why, because I don't really have OCs. Like, I have the one D&D OC. That's, like, kind of it, you know? And my, like, original Digimon, I guess, but, I guess, yeah, like, since I've heard about it since the 2010s, but, like, I wasn't really big into making my own OCs until, like, very recently, so that, I feel like that's probably why I never, like, participated or really, like, got into it, but you can attack other people and draw their characters, and then they can attack you back if they want. It's just a fun way to get people to draw. Ah, you choose a team to join and get the team points. That's cute! That sounds fun. Unfortunately, right now, I'm, like, up to my eyeballs in just, like, art stuff. Like, this whole past month, I've just been doing, like, the request for Sunbear Subathon. Right now, I'm working on storyboards. I'm working on storyboards for a big project, for a Digimon concert, and then after that, I did promise that I would open up commissions, but I think once I'm done with commissions, I'm just gonna take a big break from making art. Unless it's, like, for stream. You know, but like I've just been like non-stop drawing. Even this morning and yesterday morning, like me and Beans both had the day off, but like starting at like 7:30 a.m. I was just non-stop drawing. And I got to finish a whole lot of things, which I'm proud of. I can't show it off, unfortunately, because it's not gonna be shown off until the concert, but it's, I don't know, it's just really satisfying and rewarding to like finish something like a storyboard, you know? See, because it's right. Americans, there's no pressure, it's just friendly, fun competition to get people to draw. Ah, like NaNoWriMo. Ah, okay. We don't have room. Let's see, Magni Lensman eating good. Lots of my friends are doing it, so I've been kind of inspired to get my Cintiq out of the closet and set it up again. Oh, nice! Maybe do a couple art streams. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to see everyone's art streams. I'd love to see your art streams. I occasionally lurk when, like, Saku does art streams. And I think that's about it, actually, when it comes to, like, art streams. Except Artfight isn't accepting AI sponsorship. Ah. Nice. Nice, nice. But yeah, so yeah, I've definitely been arting it up. And this is also partially why I want to study what I want to study today. So today is going to be a study stream, and it is going to be Pomodoro just because like that just works for me. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but that's the thing that works for my flavor of, I don't even know if you would call it ADHD, but undiagnosed, but there's definitely something up. There's definitely something up with how I work. But Pomodoro really helps me personally, so we'll be doing that, but usually when I do Pomodoro, I usually stay quiet and I just respond in the chat during like the focus period because I want to like, you know, focus. But I'm gonna try something else today where like there is still like the focus time and the like break time, but I won't be completely silent, or at least I'll try not to be completely silent. Like I'll still respond. in the chat, but I do want to pretty much like focus during that time on like my studying. And what are we studying, you might ask? I'll show you. So we have figure drawing. Oh, why is the screen so big? Hold on. Oh, I know why. Give me a second. Give me un segundo. Por favor. There we go. So yeah, there is this book. This is called Figure Drawing, Design and Invention by Michael Hampton. I actually have this physically, and I actually have like a later edition. This one is, I believe, from 2009. But the one I have is from 2013. Yeah, here we go, 2009. So this is basically a book that teaches you figure drawing. So like well, when I took a class on it, it was called life drawing, but figure drawing as in like drawing the human body. But I think they also say figure because if you learn the basics of this, you can also get into things like drawing animals. Because when I actually took 2 semesters of life drawing. So it's not entirely a mystery, but like it's a bit of a mystery as to why I'm still pretty bad at it. And I do feel like I'm gonna get folks being like, you're not bad at it, you're not bad at it. But like for me personally, I feel like I'm not great at it. Like I feel like I'm decent at drawing from reference, which is what, you know, a lot of artists do, and what a lot of artists should do is draw from reference. But I also want to learn the basics. I want to learn the foundations so that if I have a pose in my head, I can kind of like not necessarily draw it out of imagination, but I'll know like kind of like the basic shapes to use for that. Because it is one thing to draw from a reference. That is just a lot easier for me, but to draw from imagination is like kind of, it's definitely harder for a lot of people, myself included. And sometimes like I have the pose in my mind, but like my Google foo is just not, we can't even use Google anymore. Google's been like lobotomized, but like my search engine techniques will sometimes fail me, you know, like I'll, actually a good example is like I've been drawing storyboards for this Digimon concert for Araya VT. She's going to be having it on August 1st. And I'll have a pose in mind. I know exactly what it's called. Like for a good example is like sitting down crisscross applesauce, you know? And I'll Google that, or I'll look it up on DuckDuckGo. What is the verb if you like are looking something up but you're not using Google? Do you just say Google anyway? So I DuckDuckGo'd person sitting down, or like reference person sitting down crisscross. And I got some pretty good references from that, but I want to be able to know like just how to do that off the noggin, you know? And yes, I'll probably still use a reference to kind of like help know things like muscle structure, but that's basically like the reason why I want to like get good at this, you know? Spicy brain variant. Still need help with posing and use way too many references when I have a figure and hand figures to help. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's a good thing to use figures. And I know because I say this, like, whenever Randon does, like, an art stream, I'm like, use references. It's not cheating. It's not, like... like, this isn't, like... I feel like there's this assumption that, like, it's, like, a tier of, like, you know, the... like... drawing from a reference is like a lower tier thing and drawing from imagination is a higher tier thing. It's like oranges to apples. There's no tier. It's like Da Vinci and like Michelangelo used references. They drew from life, you know, but they also knew how to draw from imagination. Those are just two different skills that you hone kind of like in their own way, you know? So that's what I mean is that like it's not necessarily that like, oh, you're good at drawing from references, now you gotta level up and draw from imagination. No, those are just two different skills. Apples to oranges, if that makes sense, you know? You could always use the old-fashioned looked up. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just gotta draw the infinity icon with a rectangle on top. I've heard of that technique, and I'm like, that never works for me, but I see it. You know what actually works for me? The bean. The bean, like, method. Like, here, here, say goodbye to the Bibinkub. Say goodbye, Bibinkubs. Like, if you're drawing, like, a body, like, this, drawing, like, a bean shape kind of, like, helps me, right? But then, from there, it's like, where does chest go? And then, like, where does arm... You know, leg go here, leg go here, you know? And then there's like a neck and a head, you know? Like I got the bean down. I got the bean down. It's like everything else that I wanna practice, you know? Let's see, you know what? If you think about it, a bean kind of is an infinity icon. Huh. I always think of figure drawing a lot like writing dialogue. You go out somewhere and just sketch the people as they move and do things. Just like when learning to write dialogue, you just sit somewhere and write down how you hear people talk. Ah, I've actually never heard of that strat, but I've also like haven't delved too much into creative writing as much. That's a cool strat of just like writing down like how you hear people talk. That's a pretty cool one. I have like done that kind of like both people watching and sketching like people, like especially when I'm at work. The only thing is like whenever I draw it, I feel like my poses are still so very like stiff, you know? And I think one of the techniques that we're going to be looking at today is gesture drawing. So that's actually one way to improve on like making your figures a little bit more like limber and dynamic and stuff like that. But like I've drawn a lot of people like sitting down at tables and stuff, and it just feels so stiff. And for one, it's because like by its nature, the pose is pretty stiff. It's someone sitting down at a table. But I feel like there are ways to draw someone sitting at a table and still have it be like pretty dynamic in its own way, right? There's weird people out there that consider drawing from reference to be almost the same as tracing, and I don't get it. No, for real. For real. And also, like, I was one of those people that, like, growing up, I did think that, like, tracing was cheating. And then, like, as I got more into drawing, it was like, no, it's, like, it's a cool tool to learn things like certain limbs and just get your, like, muscle memory going. And then I see, like, for example, I watched like Milky when she does art. She uses like 3D models, and she like not necessarily traces over them, but she gets kind of like the landmarks down to get that pose just right. And because of that, like, I don't quite consider that cheating anymore. For tracing to be cheating, it's basically when you do like a one-to-one, you know, like a one-to-one, like you're tracing someone else's artwork. But if you're tracing like a 3D model in order to like get like the landmarks just right and to get like the angles and stuff just right, I feel like that's acceptable. Like I personally don't do that, and I just rather use it as a reference to eyeball. But like I personally also don't see too much of a problem with using it for poses in that way. Unfortunately, misinformed artists and bad opinions have really hindered their peers. Frustrating to see. Yeah. Beans, coils, boxes, and sticks. The infinity mean! Now quick, foreshorten the arm of a guy pointing at you. Oh no. That's horrific. I did see something on Tumblr that was like, yeah, you use like the coil or something like that to like, you know, pointing, you know? Like, you know, I've seen something like that. And then I've seen a lot of artists being like, oh my gosh, it works. But I myself don't know the technique. I'm just kind of making circles right now, you know? Foot. See? Look at how dynamic this is. This is actually not too bad, right? This is actually not too bad. I just want to learn, like, anatomy, you know? Like, here's the spine. I have drawn a rib cage before. I guess it's something like this, right? And then you got your, the hip bone is kind of like one of the hardest ones to draw, in my opinion. My dad and my brother used to just sit and sketch people, so I'd sit there and write down how people talked. I actually don't know if there's a suggested exercise for writing, it's just what I did. Oh, that's cool! I like that. I would say tracing is fine if you want to understand lining, but like, never one-to-one to say, look what I made. Yeah, exactly. I think a good example, I unfortunately forgot the name of the artist, but that was like a famous like Japanese animator or Japanese, not animator, because with animation you kind of do have to know like the fundamentals and stuff. But yeah, like there was like a famous Japanese artist that was called out for just straight up like tracing one-to-one a lot of his works, right? I have an anatomy book I would reference all the time early on. In both drawing and 3D sculpting. That's so cool. Every time I see like sculptors do their work, it's like so awe-inspiring. It's like you get this like big lump of clay and suddenly there's a face. But yeah. Before we get into the swing of things, we do have our dailies, but I'm thinking of spacing it out for today. So I'm thinking of just starting off with daily hue, right? We're gonna start off with that, and then we're gonna start our study sessions. And then feel free to consider this, you know, second screen, you know, content. I feel like usually a lot of my stuff is second screen content, but even more so today. Because during the focus periods, like I said, I won't be yapping as much, but I won't be completely I won't be muted like I usually am. But I will be pretty much like focusing on like studying and drawing. But with that said, let's do some dailies. And then for the first break, we'll do Time Guesser, and then for the second break, we'll do like half of Anthropium, and then third break, we'll do the rest of Anthropium. So we'll space it out that way. There's always something to do. Always something to do. Baxter Crook, hello. Already doing it while making a monster catcher outfit. Ooh, cool. Monster catcher outfit sounds cool. Alright, let's do our dailies. Let's start off with Daily Hue. It's the 4th of July! Happy Bear American Bear Dependence Day. Bear Independence Day. So this is by Child Hassam from 1916. From the 1910s, which is the next decade we're going to be studying in like 2 weeks. So if this is the American flag. This is pretty easy peasy, right? So I feel like it's a red that's a little bit closer to orange. Saturation, ooh, maybe like super saturated. Yeah, I would say super saturated. I hate rich people. It's true. Hello, Mauser. We celebrate our independence from the British. The British. I love that. I'll say something like this. Submit guess. 88. Very nice. Oh yeah, we got the hue just right. So it's like a red that's a little bit closer to orange. And then saturation. So it's more saturated. It's super red. And then lightness, I think just a smidge over here. 94. We're getting close. We're getting close. Oh, hue? I'm surprised we didn't get hue. Let's see. So 6. I'm putting it at 9, and then lightness goes a little bit more like here. Submit guess. 96. We're so close. We're so close. Oh, saturation and hue are correct. So now it's just lightness. Submit guess. There we go. It's a strong scarlet. And we got a streak. Let me go ahead and paste this into the Discord. Alright, cool. So that's Daily Hue. Let's see. Oh, let's learn a little bit more about this this color. It's a vibrant saturated red, mid-toned in character, echoing the cinnabar and vermilion pigments of Renaissance masters. I feel like we've seen this caption like once or twice before. Like the like mention of the Renaissance masters, and then like, you know, like synonyms like cinnabar and vermilion, where if you didn't know any better, it'd be like, those are just places in Pokemon. 4th of July, this is by Child Hassam. A glorious sea of American flags, crowded streets, and Fifth Avenue skyscrapers. The 4th of July, 1916. The greatest display of the American flag ever seen in New York. Climax of the Preparedness Parade in May by Child Hassam. Cool. Cool. Cinnabar is where Blaine lives. It's true. It's true. And then you got Vermilion, which is where it's Lieutenant Surge, right? Been a minute. And we got some other works that have dark, strong scarlet. We got Eugene Delacroix. I think, why does that sound familiar? Is he one of the ones that painted like either presidential or like European leader portraits? Ooh, Chief Jumper of the Seminoles. 4 seasons in one head. Oh, I think I've seen this series before by Giuseppe Arcimboldo. He's done other ones where it's like just like people made up of fruits and plants and stuff. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But alright, so we've done that. We're gonna come back to Time Guesser and to Anthropium during our breaks, but let's go ahead and get started with our studying, shall we? So I'm gonna start the timer. The Pomodoro sessions are gonna be 45 minutes long, and then the breaks are gonna be 15 minutes long, and the long break is 30 minutes long. Though, if we get to like the 3-hour mark, before the long break, we might just cut it off there. So it'll depend. It'll depend on like how tired I am, because I do also want a little bit of time in the afternoon to work on some things, and then in the evening, I'm actually gonna be playing some video games with Beans, Goji, and Ghosty. So I'm excited for that. Studi time. It is studi time. It's studi time. So yeah, I won't be yapping as much. Let me see. I did make a new chat command for study. Let me see if it works. It does not. It does not. Wait. Yeah, it should work. Hold on. Comms, cancel. Let's edit triggers. Oh, I know what I have to do. Edit triggers. I have to take out the asterisk. Okay, save, save. Let's do it again. They never work on the first try. They're shy. They're shy. There you go. There you go. Let's see. Video games. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a Pomodoro study sesh. During focus time, I won't yap as much, but we'll catch up during our breaks. So, with that, I'm gonna start the timer, and then I'm gonna be reading off of this book, and then trying out some exercises on my iPad. So you might see me, like, switch between, like, the two things, but that's how it goes. That's how it goes. So during your own focus time, feel free to do whatever you'd like. Whether it's dual wielding me with another streamer, or your own focusing, like doing the laundry or what have you. But otherwise, I'll yap with you guys in a bit. Okie doke. But multi-stream, multi-stream, multi-stream. Alright, so I was just reading like the introduction to this whole thing, and like I was like, I looked at this cool little like figure drawing over here that kind of breaks down things, like the body parts, like the head, the rib cage, the pelvis, and then like drew it kind of like on my own thing. At the very bottom, it says like, when checking the proportion of the figure, try to avoid doing any slow methodical measuring. Instead, base the proportions off of what looks correct after establishing the figure from head to foot. If it looks incorrect, change it. The drawing is still at an early stage when correction's easy. The downside to slowly measuring out a figure is that it stiffens the poses. Focus on the activity, the proportion can be corrected later. That's a really good tip, and it's also funny that like I didn't see that until after I started drawing. I was like, it doesn't like proportionally look correct. Want me to send what I used by the figures and books? Sure, you can. I'm mostly going to be sticking to one source though. But you know, you can never have too many sources, but I appreciate the sentiment. But yeah, let me know. Let me know. Let me know what you generally use. You know what? No, the head is a little too big. Yeah, because I do remember when I did learn figure drawing that they usually say that like the body is about like 6 or 7 heads like tall. So if we take like this measurement and then you keep on like doing that measurement over and over and over and over, eventually you should end up with like around, you know what this is? What is this? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? You can put it on Creative Cubs. Then that'll be really helpful for not just me, but like a whole bunch of other people too. So there's that, with the proportions. And then it looks like this person's also labeling, not labeling, but like they have certain landmarks such as like the, like I said, the rib cage, but also your, was it your clavicle? That like bony part of, why am I forgetting? It's streamer debuff. It's your the bone like right below your neck, basically. So it looks like that's being used as a landmark, a bony landmark. Because that's another thing I kind of remember from taking life drawing classes, is like pay attention to those landmarks because they'll help you. Like I said, drawing the hips is kind of like the hardest, in my opinion. This person also talks about CSI, not the show, but as in you'll only be using, like when making any shape, either like the C shape, a curved S shape, or like a straight line, like an I. Which is kind of true. Like if you look at, for example, the clavicle over here, it's like a C shape and then 2 eyes, and then you kind of just mirror that same shape to make that. I think I tend to go more for like the C and the I shape, aka an arc and a straight line. But there are times where, like, you know, if you're doing something like really organic, like say like a flower petal, you might do something with like an S shape like this, right? Or like a leaf. Something like that, where it's like an S shape, and then kind of like a reverse S shape, straight line for like leaves. Right, let's see what else. Oh, this is a cool side profile. I'm gonna try drawing this too. Okay, let's try this out. Let me try to draw the side view. Side profiles are always like pretty challenging for me to draw as well. There is a technique to it. Like there's a way to measure it out so you know exactly like where the nose is supposed to go, where the mouth is supposed to go, but I always forgot. Oh, you know what? I think I drew the hip too small. This is a pretty cool like guide because they basically say that this is the human body is basically a balancing act where like the angle of like for example like the chest over here is counterbalanced by both the neck and the head, but then also here by the pelvis. It's like the way that like this is kind of like going this way and then the pelvis is going that way but also this way. So there is a kind of like counterbalance going on to keep things upright. Same side view is kind of hard, especially with anthro characters or curvy, looking like you don't want to overdo it. Yeah, definitely, because this model is definitely for like, I guess like typical like not too skinny, not too big, kind of person, and it's like I'm kind of curious on like how you would draw things like for curvy characters, like you said, right? So the pelvis moves opposite to the tilt of the ribcage and the legs stabilize the body in the shape of a large S. Oh. Did I do that properly? I did not. Large S. Okay, back to reading. Right, so this section is focusing on asymmetry. And it looks like there's a bit of an exercise in drawing, like, not like the right side, which is basically a bunch of, like, kind of symmetrical curves, but asymmetrical, where, like, it's the same curve going throughout. Let me see if I could use my pointer. It's the same curve going throughout, but, like, the beginning of one arrow starts at the midpoint of the arrow before it. So let me see if I can do this little exercise. I feel like for a lot of art exercises like this, here's the midpoint, there is this idea of like, what's the point of doing an exercise like this? Oh, wait. And I always think of just like, what is it, Karate Kid? Where it's always like the kid learning how to like wax the car is like teaching him like the fundamentals of how to, you know, do karate or karate. It's like this where like because I remember for example like we made a book of Mikakashi. Hello, thank you for the raid. How you doing? I know that you are our most recent little guy. Hello, welcome, welcome. My name's Babinka Bear. I'm your local Sun Bear art history teacher and educational streamer. And today I'm actually the student. I am actually the student that is learning how to do things, and I'm trying to get a little bit better at anatomy and figure drawing. So we're reading a book during this study session, and then we're also like drawing some of the exercise inside of it. But hello, how was your co-working and studying stream? I saw earlier I lurked for a teensy bit in your stream. I know that you were also studying, but how did it go? What did you guys end up focusing on that day? But also, hello, I know that you're the latest of the little guys. Hello, and then do forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Let me know if it's Mikakashi or Mekakashi or Mekakashi. But hello, welcome, and thanks for joining the class. I was reviewing my practice LMSW's exam. Ooh, what does that mean? Let me see. I'll look it up. LMSW. Oh, cool! Social work license? Is that correct? Am I correct in my Google foo? Social worker license. Oh, awesome! Awesome. How do you, if you don't mind me asking, if you do mind, you don't have to answer. How do you usually do your co-working streams? Because do you also do it where like you have your do you also have a Pomodoro timer, or do you also kind of like yap throughout? Because I'm still trying out different strategies. My personal favorite is to just like entirely focus on something and not yap at all during the like 45-minute focus stream, but I know some of the folks that drop by, they also want a little bit of ways for me to yap, or ways for me to engage with the chat, with the students, so to speak. So I'm trying out, like, we are in the midst of like the study session, but I'm not forbidding myself from yapping too much. But also, if you want to do, I know that streaming can be pretty tiring if you have to raid and run. Do any post-stream care, no worries at all, but let me know, let me know. Oh, a super sweet bot. I think I've seen Tapanya use that one. Depending on what it is, we normally are quiet for 50 and then yap for 10. Some study sessions I will yap though. Ah, okay. That's kind of what I prefer too. But I'm just trying out different things. I'm trying out different things with how I do my study sessions. Cause yeah, I do prefer just like keeping it like quiet so that I can entirely focus. But it's like, maybe I can get away with a little bit of like cheeky yaps. Let's see. But yeah, I have heard of Super Sweetbot. It does a good job of like tracking not only your tasks, but other people's tasks, right? But I also know it's paid. Is it paid? Because I remember I tried to get into it as well, and then I was like, oh no, I gotta pay for this. Oh dear. When I was taking my practice test, I was yapping to like think out loud about the answers, but now that I'm reviewing my mistakes, I'm doing that quietly. Okay. Good strat all around. Good to know. Good to know. But yeah, thanks again for the raid. I'm gonna get back to like reading my stuff, but you know, feel free to chill in the chat. Feel free if you gotta step away, no worries at all. Cool. It's a $4 a month Patreon. I don't remember if there was a free version. Yeah, I think you do have to pay a little bit, which $4 a month is actually not that bad. $4 a month is not that bad, now that I think about it. You'll be lurking? Nice. Thanks again. Thanks again. I hope you have a good lurk. There you go. Hiding in the bushes, I see. Alright. Let's go ahead and keep on reading. So we did our asymmetry exercise. And then they're talking about the C and S curve. I like this part. By keeping the high points of the curve slightly offset, the eye is forced to move through them. This gives you the ability to have a great deal of control over where the viewer's eye goes and how quickly. This is one way of dealing with composition at a very early stage of drawing. Oh, cool. Oh, so something closer to the right. Does not emphasize a natural sense of balance and movement. Oh, you know what? I think this is telling me that my line should be a little bit longer. That's fine. Okay, repetition 2. Okay. This is interesting. It's talking about timing and like fast and slow visual movement, because I understood the concept of just visual movement in terms of like, you know, this little like asymmetrical thing that we've already drawn here is essentially the same as doing something like this, right? Where you're like curving in and out. But by doing something like this, you're adding like kind of like a sense of motion to it. It's almost like watching like a waterfall. But then this is saying that like the amount of lines that you draw can also kind of affect how fast the eye moves. So there's a difference between, for example, like doing something like this versus doing something, oops, like this. Whereas like this, it's leading your eye towards the right side, right? But kind of at a slower pace compared to this. This feels more like, if you're imagining like water going through, you know, like water going through here, it slows down here and then here it like speeds up. That's kind of what I'm like getting from this part of the lesson, which is interesting. I've never really like heard of this idea of like I heard of the idea of like moving your eye across a picture, but not necessarily like the speed at which that's happening. Cool. 1 minute gesture drawings. Okay, these are cool. So gesture drawings are basically like you are looking at a reference, you're looking at a model and you're drawing it, but you're not drawing it like perfect to life. You know, you're not drawing it realistically. You're just kind of getting a vibe of the drawing. Like for example, if we like look at this central, I think I can zoom in. If we look at this one over here, it's like a person that is kind of like sitting down with their back partially to the viewer. So you can see their arms kind of like outstretched over here. You can see how their body kind of like curves. They're kind of like lounging back. But they didn't include any details that, they didn't include like the hair or the face or like specific parts of the body. Like you can kind of make out that this is like the butt, right? But like it's kind of just like a couple lines of indication. It's just getting like, it's emphasizing less realism and more so the motion, the overall like motion of the figure itself. So I've done a lot of gesture drawings when I've taken life drawing classes. I was not great at them, especially starting out, but that's kind of just how it goes, right? Like when you're learning a new skill, you're gonna be bad at first. But you have to kind of get over the idea of like, oh, I'm doing so bad right now, I'm doing so bad, because like that's just part, you have to suck at something before you get really good at something. So and you'll find, because if you ever do take a life drawing class, you'll find that like it's actually pretty fun to like do these gesture drawings at the beginning of the semester, beginning of the course, and then you improve and you improve and you improve, and then when you compare the gesture drawings you did at the end of the course to the beginning, you'll see your growth. And that's kind of the key of it with like improving at art, is to not compare yourself to other people, but compare yourself to yourself. Look back at your own art and be like, dang, I improved a lot. So it looks like we're gonna try out some gesture drawings. There's another good example too of like, there's not necessarily like realistic proportions, right? The chest is a little bit too long in my opinion, but I think it's also because they didn't mark out the rest of the chest. It could be perfectly proportional, but because they didn't mark out the rest of it, it looks a little too elongated. But realism's not the focus. It's getting the motion. So we might try this out right now. In fact, we might copy some of them. Analyze the drawings on these pages for the ideas discussed so far. Yeah, let's try it out. Let's actually try it out with this pink person that's like lounging backwards. Let's try this out. Make a new layer. All right. Well, and we'll keep things loosey goosey. Let me. There we go. Zoom out. There we go. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because definitely the realism isn't like I kind of the realism isn't quite there, like I said, and I just have to keep on telling myself that like it's not about realism, it's not about it looking right, it's about getting kind of the motion. So even though telling you guys is helping me, it's also like a lot of it is telling myself of like it's okay if it doesn't look quite right, right? But it, I'd say it kind of looks like the reference. Here's the reference I was using, right? Ah, you know what? Comparing it, I need to exaggerate the lines more. Like here's a little bit too stiff. This line in particular, it needs to be overall kind of like something like that. Exaggerated even more. Exaggerated even more. But this was still interesting because I was playing around with that like asymmetrical exercise that we were doing, specifically when you do the arms. Because I noticed that this artist does something, Michael Hampton, he does something where like he marks out where the elbow is. Like this kind of deep pink over here. He marks it out. I usually don't do that. Like if I'm drawing like this like hand over here, I usually just do like that, you know? But I think it is really useful to mark out where the elbow would be. And then with this arm, I kind of did like a curve that's going this way. And then it connects, what's it called? Like the forearm connects like this. So there is that alternating asymmetrical motion going on here. It's good to say it out loud at times, just to help reassure instead of second guessing without saying it. Yeah, I think this is what's helping me actually, is like, rather than being completely silent during study time, is like being like, it's, you know what, it's okay. Like, I think I was looking at this and I was like, yeah, something does look off about this, but it's fine. That's the point of doing these kinds of exercises, is to have a space where it's okay to mess up, or it's okay if it looks a little off, right? So you know what? Let's keep doing this. Let me see how much time I have on the. I still have 15 minutes. Cool. Let's do another one. Let's do one of these. I kind of want to focus on this one. It looks like a person that's kind of person that's like looking down with their arms kind of like up behind them. Let's try this one out. Let's move this a little bit. Make some room for the arms. Oh, those arms are way too long. It's okay. Oh, we already have an ad break coming up. All right. Okay, not too bad. Yeah, the arms are a little too long, but or it looks like it's long, but maybe that's just the pose, right? But this is cool to kind of just get like the motion and like the curves of things. I think my favorite here is like this part of the leg that's kind of fatty, right? It kind of is not a perfect curve. It's almost like two straight lines. Cool, cool. The ad break is... Oh, has started, so... I'm gonna pause the timer. But I'll see you guys in a bit. I just saw one of the craziest tweets about Anime Expo. Because if you guys have seen the pictures, it's crowded. I think it's like more crowded than it's ever been, which is saying something because like when we went last year, it was crowded. It was like scary crowded where like knock on wood this will never happen, but like that it could easily turn into like a crowd crush situation. You know? So that's already like crazy enough, right? But the pictures that are coming out of it are really crazy. They're really scary. But the tweet that I saw was even crazier because it was saying it was a Japanese person with like the auto translate feature saying that like this is actually not as bad as Japanese conventions because at least in America when someone body checks you, at least they'll apologize. So apparently it's just as crowded at the Japanese conventions, but you'll also get body checked and the person will not apologize. In fact, they might have even done so purposefully. That's crazy. So anyway, let's get back to studying. I realized I should have studied during the break, but it's okay. It's okay. And Mikakashi, you got your sticker. You got your sticker. But yeah, these exercises have been pretty helpful so far, and we're only doing our first study session. Let me restart the timer. Not restart, but set it back up. And let's keep on studying. Do we want to continue, or I think I want to do one more. Actually, I want to do one more. Let's do this one. The person with their back towards us, but like the big stretch on the leg, right? Let me see if I can draw that one out. There we go. Not too bad. Not too bad. This one was a little bit harder to get the proportions just right. But then again, I gotta keep on telling myself it's not about the proportions, it's about getting those, like, motion lines. I also realized near the end that I should also be marking in the landmarks I was talking about, like the rib cage over here, the pelvis. I don't quite have a good handle on, like, the hip bone just yet. I know that it's vaguely, like, I guess this shaped, right? But I have a better, like, time with the rib cage because at least it's like, it's kind of like my eye shape. It's kind of like my eye shape, you know? And then you kind of, like, put these little, like, ladybug wings in there, and that's kind of the rib cage. That's like a very simplified rib cage, right? And then you also have your collarbone here. That's what it's called, the collarbone. I was like, why am I forgetting what it's called? But the hip bone, I'm still kind of like, I don't quite remember, like, off the top of my head what it's shaped like, you know? So let's keep on keeping on. Okay. So cool. We got gesture drawings, wrapping lines. Ooh, this might be like the coil method we were talking about earlier. That I do remember seeing on Tumblr, people talking about the coil method. Wrapping lines. Okay, so this is using, like, lines across the form itself to kind of indicate perspective. And then they do give a pretty good example over here where, like, notice how the two lower legs have two different types of wrapping lines. So this one is going in this direction in, like, an upward arc. This one over here is going in a downward direction, in a downward arc. So this kind of, like, it kind of fools our eye into believing that this is, excuse me, this is further away, while this is closer to us. So, yeah, I might want to try that out. Let's try out, like, this kind of, like, simplified version first, and then we'll go a little bit more into, like, the wrapping lines. No, we'll go more into, like, integrating them within, like, a figure. So if we have a tube over here, and then another tube this way. Okay, so there's something like that. And then here if we go, like, downward. I need to exaggerate that curve a little bit more, like this. I think that's always been, like, what I'm noticing with a lot of my drawings. Like, I just need to exaggerate curves a little bit more. Like, instead of going for something like this, go like that, you know? Let me try this with the legs. Because the legs were a good kind of, like, example. You have one leg that is kind of, like, coming down like this. And another leg that is coming down like this. And then there's also the knee. Okay, we got two legs. If we want to indicate which one's closer and farther, it's more upward. upward strokes on this one because it's closer to us. And they also darken the curves as you get to the knee. The curves are still there on this part, but it's also like less bright. I feel like this is kind of like going into like that coil method that Tumblr talks about. So then if we want to indicate that the left leg is further away, then we use these like downward arcs. With emphasis on the knee. There we go. I do need to kind of turn it upside down and just... Basically, I feel like this means I'm only good at making upward style arcs. Hey, that actually kind of works. That actually kind of works. Like, you can kind of tell that this leg is further away in comparison to this one. That's pretty cool. It's a nice little tip. Cool, cool, cool. Actually, part of me wants to like kind of keep looking at this because if you see like the arm, for example, the arm is like horizontal, so of course the arcs are kind of go in that direction. So I guess rather than thinking of like upward and downward arcs, I wonder if it's like towards the extremity versus away from the extremity. So for the arm, this is pointing towards the hand, right? And then here, these arcs are pointing more towards the shoulder. So I feel like it's going to be more relative than anything. And then the chest too. So this does look like a male presenting figure, right? Because it's a little bit like flatter. I wonder if we were to use downward arcs instead, it would look more like a breast for like someone with breasts, you know. So for example, if we want to kind of make this a little bit flatter. And they're using kind of like these upward arcs. But then if you do downward... Actually, that's an interesting effect. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. If you just keep it to this style. Interesting, interesting. Okay, I think we'll just move on. We'll move on. We'll probably come back to something like that. See how much is... Oh, we only have a minute left. So in that case, we only have about like 2 minutes left. So let me just keep on experimenting with this kind of wrap style. See how the arm looks. Where they did this thing where the curves are going more towards the hand. And these ones are more going towards the shoulder. Okay, okay. It definitely does do a good job of like implying depth, right? There we go. Okay, cool. Our break is about to start, and with that, Equal Art, hello. Hello, hello. Yeah, our break is about to start, and then with that, we'll probably do 15 minutes of Time Guesser. We'll try to speed run through it. But yeah, this was a good focus session. I feel like even though I've already taken some figure drawing classes before, this was super helpful in terms of just the technique, the actual like what your hand has to do to imply these figures, right? All right, so we have a 15-minute short break. Let's do Time Guesser. Let's do another one of our dailies, shall we? All right, start. America! What does this say? Oh, 250. This is 2026. But the question is, where? Donde? Rodeo 250. Do you think this would be probably DC, right? But I know there's celebrations all over the country today. But I feel like the safe bet would probably be DC. But if there's like horse riding and stuff, then maybe it could also be like the South. But you know what? Let's just keep it simple. Let's not overthink it too much. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere here? Take a guess. Nice! It was DC, and it was today, literally. U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rowland during riding horseback during Rodeo 250 event at the Great American State Fair, the National Mall in Washington, D.C. The rodeo was part of the Freedom 250 celebration commemorating the 20th, 50th anniversary of the founding of the U.S. Cool, cool. Alright, so we got that one. That one was a gimme, right? Ooh, this one says Göteborg. I wonder if this is that Swedish place that keeps popping up. Gothenburg or something? Yeah, Göteborg. What if we say Göteborg? And then fashion-wise, there's like, oh, they got the cloche hats. They got the hats that are kind of like closer to the head. They're kind of bell-shaped. You definitely saw that during the 20s, but these are not young ladies. So maybe this is closer to like the 40s. Or even the 50s, right? Actually, the suits are kind of like an interesting one as well. It feels like this could actually be 30s, 40s. Like this feels very like film noir, right? Let's say late 30s, early 40s. Oh, that is getting into World War II though. But let's do 37. Let's do 1937 Gothenburg. It was the 20s. Okay. Passengers on the platform at Bergslagsbanan station at Gothenburg. Nice. A former railway terminal adjacent to the nearby Gothenburg Central Station. The station was closed in 1930. However, its building visible on the left still stands today. Cool, cool, cool. So we got the right country. We just need to, oh my gosh. These guys are going through it. Is this World Cup stuff? But we already got a guess from 2026. So this has to be maybe like the World Cup before that? Which, wait. No, look at this. I feel like I should recognize that, but I don't. What is this? Gosleme? That there's an umlaut on top of that O? Maybe this is another Nordic country? Where could this be? There's the English flag. Or sorry, the British flag. Australia. Is this the World Cup? Wait, before this World Cup it would have been 2022, and then before that 2018, right? I'm not seeing too much in the way of phone. Oh my god, their expressions are so... This is like meme worthy. I'm not seeing a lot of phones. Huh. Yeah, not seeing a lot of phones. Maybe this is 2000s then. The quality looks like it would be like 2010s, but it could also be a really good digital camera, right? So maybe 2009 Australia? But them wearing Australian jerseys doesn't necessarily mean that they're in Australia, right? Just like how there's like a British flag. Wait, what if also that's the British flag that's like part of the Australian flag too? I'm not sure. Let's just say that it is Australia. Because it could just be the Australian team, especially with like, there's a building in the background with an umlaut on it. So this might actually be Germany, or it might be like a Nordic country, but let's just say, right? 2009. Where are we? Oh, nice! 3, I lucked out. That was pure luck. I just went to a random place in Sydney. Australia fans reacting after their teams lost to Egypt in the penalty shootouts in the FIFA World Cup round of 32 match in Sydney. Wait, what? They never do this. They never do it where it's like there's always a different decade in each round. So this was literally like recently. Maybe even yesterday. I don't know where the World Cup is right now. In terms of like, I think we're still in round of 32, but I don't know who fought. I know that today is the English versus what is it? England versus Mexico? UK versus Mexico match. You know, beans and rice negative versus beans and rice positive. Egypt, which had never previously won a single FIFA World Cup match, advanced to the round of 16. Oh, dang. Wait, but Time Guesser never does this where they do the same year in, like, multiple rounds. That's not fair! That's not fair. Dang it. Oh, Queen Elizabeth's still alive, so... this might be 2010s, then. I thought I knew the meta. I thought I knew the meta of Time Guesser, but turns out I was wrong. This does look like a African country. May have... Oh, what's that flag? I'm actually not sure. I'm actually not sure what that flag is. Maybe like a former British colony? Which the thing is, I don't remember quite which ones were British owned. I know that like South Africa, for example, was first colonized by the Dutch, and then I think the British came afterwards. It could also be the Congo, right? Democratic Republic of Congo. What if we say here? Kinshasa. 20... Oh, when did she die again? I feel like it was after the pandemic, right? It was like quite recently. Let's just say 2018. Oh, 1999. It's Mozambique. I see, I see. So Queen Elizabeth II, accompanied by Mozambican President Joaquim Chissano, being greeted by traditional dancers upon her arrival at Maputo Airport, a whistle-stop tour on the final day of her state visit to Africa. Cool. So we were off on both accounts. But it's okay. Oh, yeehaw. We uphold American ideals. Okay, Oregon specifically is highlighted here. It says Vale. Like, I feel like this is specifically like... Is there a city over here called Vale? This is the desert. There's an Ontario. Oh, here, Vale. Maybe we are in the city of Vale. Here in the park. Bork in the Pork. Scouts of today's, leaders of tomorrow. LD5 Troop 53. When could this be? Wait, how many stars are on the flag? How many stars are on the flag? That does matter, because if it's 48, I think that makes it pre-50s, pre-60s? I actually don't remember when Hawaii and Alaska became states, but I think it was the 60s, right? What if this isn't just like number 53, like troop number 53? What if it's like the troop of 1953, right? Let's look at their fashion. We do have like the short sundresses here in the background. Oh, this car, if I could see more of this car, I feel like I would know. Maybe it's 40s. Let's just say 50s. Oh, wait. Look at the stars here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. This is pre-60s. I think it's 48 stars on the flag. So let's say 55. City of Vale, Oregon. Nice! Ah, it was the 40s. It was the 40s, okay. Boy Scouts float in the 4th of July parade in Vale, Oregon. Okay, not bad, not bad. We got in the 30s. We were really off for the Africa one, unfortunately, but we got pretty good on all the other ones. Let's put our score on daily games in the Discord, and there we go. Cool, cool. I think for the next break, we are gonna do Anthropium, but Anthropium's just so long because there's 10 objects. So, I guess we could start it. We still have like 5 minutes left of the break, right? Because I feel like it always takes me about 30 minutes to do Anthropium. So let's just do one round. We'll do one round for our break. Ooh, okay. What are we looking at? This is East Asia, definitely, but when it's early enough, it's hard to differentiate between like figures and like writing styles of like Korea, China, Japan. When it's early enough. Once you get late enough, it's pretty easy to distinguish like the costume, for example. This is like looking pretty long. I feel like this might be China. I never know where to put in China, so I always just go to Beijing. What is this? Earthenware with slip and pigment. It looks pretty old as well. I wish I knew more about like the specific robes. I feel like it is more ornate once you get to like Romance of the Three Kingdoms and stuff like that. The only thing is I don't remember the time period for that. So let's just say like right before 1000 CE, China. It is China. Okay, cool. But it's even earlier. It's BCE. It's a female dancer. So let's read up about this one. This figure vividly captures the moment when, with one long sleeve thrown back and the other trailing down, a dancer gently stoops and flexes her knees as she lifts one heel to advance her step, performing a dance described in Han Dynasty poetry. Oh, Han Dynasty. I need to just practice my dynasties. I know that for people that took like AP World History, there was like a song that you learn to like memorize all the dynasties, right? But here's the poem. Their long sleeves, twirling and twisting, fill the hall. Gauze stocking feet, taking mincing steps, move with slow and easy gait. They hover about long and continuous as if stopped in midair. Dazed, one thinks they are about to fall. Cool, cool, cool. Next round. Ooh, this is interesting. This looks... The facial structure... At first I was gonna say this looks American. Like, this looks Mesoamerican. But the face looks like it would be Southeast Asia, maybe South Asia. Like, the face kind of like knee-jerk reaction, South Asia, India, right? But then the headdress, it's what... That's also what's making me think maybe it's Southeast Asia? Or Southeast Asia, rather. Putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. So maybe it's like closer to like Bangladesh, right? Like maybe it is still India, but it's closer to Southeast Asia. And it's made out of volcanic stone. Oh, you know what? That's an interesting detail. Because volcanic activity, I don't always associate with India. Like, I wouldn't doubt if there is volcanoes there, but I feel like you're more likely to find it around the Ring of Fire, which is like this area. So, could this actually be America's? I don't know. In that case, maybe it's Indonesian. Maybe it's Indonesian then. I feel like, yeah, they would be more so like around the Ring of Fire. So, I fell into a burning ring of fire. Let's put it in between 1000 and 1500 CE. Take a guess. Ooh! Not too far off. And it was the medium that kind of hinted at it, where it's like, oh, volcanic stone. Where do you find volcanic stone? So, pretty close, pretty close. We didn't get it quite perfect. I should have went with Java. But that's pretty close. Time period wise, it's before 1000 CE. Good to know. Alright. Ooh, this looks... I want to say Dogon. Like, this looks specifically African. I don't know if it would specifically be Benin City. But... like, I don't remember where the Dogon culture comes from, but this specifically reminds me of that. Let's go ahead and just say Benin City. 16th century? Maybe 17th? Some guess. Nice! We got it! Altars to the hand. Ikegobo. Oh, this is Edo, not Dogon. So in the Royal Kingdom of Benin, cylindrical altars to the hand, or Ikegobo, are created to celebrate a person's accomplishment and successes. Ikegobo are dedicated to the hand, the aspect of an individual's being associated with action and the initiation of change, which is at the root of one's achievements. Depending on the patron's wealth and place within the hierarchy of the kingdom, these objects are made of brass, wood, or clay. Cool, cool, cool. I think we are starting to get a little bit more familiarized with what you would find from Edo peoples in Benin City. I'm thinking, like, proportion-wise, a little bit more stout. Big eyes, big emphasis on the eyes and the nose. Actually, the lips as well. Like, everything on the face is just more so exaggerated. This kind of, like, cross-hatching I'm noticing in a lot of their works as well. Oh, this is interesting too. You could see places where like they kind of punched in holes for the design here. I like this detail, the braid, the little braid over here on this presumably like woman's figure. Interesting, interesting. Very cool. And how much more time do we have? Oh, nope, no time. We gotta get back to studying. But cool, so we got 3 rounds into Anthropium, so for the next break, we'll just continue doing that. But with that, let's go ahead and get back to studying. Start the timer. So we last look at this, like, pseudo-coil method. Let's go ahead and start moving on to this next section. Shapes of the head, ribcage, and pelvis. Ah, okay. Cool. So, this is pretty much saying to start indicating the head, rib cage, and pelvis. And to not overthink it in terms of shape, you can just do... They're saying that for the head, just a sphere. For the rib cage, an egg shape. On kind of like an egg on its side like this. And then for the pelvis, an oval on its side. That's pretty straightforward. We can do that. Oh, I realized that I wasn't showing my drawing screen. Like this. So this would be the head. Oops. This would be the head. This would be the rib cage. This would be the pelvis. Let's start a new page. There we go. And let's keep on reading. Okay, so I might want to try drawing these with the tips that they've already included. So using these like wrap lines, using gesture, and then showing those landmarks, the head, the rib cage, and the pelvis. So let's try it out. Oh, we're getting that bean shape. We're getting that bean shape I was talking about. But it's more, let's do more with gesture lines instead. Okay, that's an interesting one. I did try using those like wrap lines. But I think the emphasis was more so on like using curves, those C shapes, those I shapes, those S shapes, right? Okay, okay. Let's keep on keeping on. What does he mean by fatten out your drawings? So, and he's definitely the author Michael Hampton is making the point of saying to not use any straight lines when possible. Let me also get a drink of water. Okay, so here are more examples that we can draw from. Yeah, let's draw some more of these examples for a couple more minutes. And it looks like we're going to move on into the spine. Yeah, we're going to move on into the spine. But I kind of want to try out some of these poses before we proceed forward. Oh, actually, I got a word text. I'm not working, but just want to see what their pictures look like. Cool. Okay, let's do some drawing. Which one do I want to copy? There's a cool dancing one. That oval of the ribcage does have to become a bean. It does sometimes. It just be like that. This is a cool one. It's very like, I guess, is lithe the word? Like, it feels very graceful. Yo, Mega Bronson. Hello, hello. I'm studying figure drawing today. I'm reading along in a book. I'm doing some sketches. Etc, etc. Let's do some more. I'm thinking maybe like one or two more. I think there's a running one. I feel like that's like really useful one to just know. And then like a good run cycle. I get like the general kind of like line going, and then let's go from there. This feels more like someone is like, you know, getting all up in someone's face and going like why ya yada, rather than someone running. So let's see why that is. Maybe it's like this part. And maybe there does need to be a little bit more exaggeration here. If you lift one of the legs, that's a good point. I think this is the one that's supposed to be lifted. Yeah, actually that does it. That's what does it. Is that like just lifting one of the legs to make it look like it's running. So that was a good tip. Alright, one more. Let's do one more of these drawings and then we'll move on. Ooh, there's like a cool action pose that might be interesting to try to replicate. Let's do that. Might also be me watching too much Kamen Rider clips, but I see a Rider kick. I actually don't know too much about Kamen Rider. Like, I know it exists. I've definitely heard of it. I know that it's also like a generational phenomenon, right? Same with like the Super Sentai in terms of things like that, but I've never actually like watched it. And I've had a lot of people recommend it to me too. But I've just never had the time to check it out, to give it a go, you know? It's a pretty cool action shot. Cool, cool. As for older Kamen Rider has a darker storyline, while the new ones, they feel lighter and have a bunch of crossover with older ones. So you could see where they got the inspiration for newer Rider alt forms. Oh, cool, cool, cool. I am a fan of darker storylines, but it's also like, I just don't have time to check out too many other things nowadays. Mayhaps that will improve once I finish up a couple tasks on my thing, but right now me and Beans are watching like Better Call Saul. That's been our like thing lately. He's been watching that. We're actually on the last season. Or we just finished season 5. So no spoilers for season 6, not yet at least, but yeah, it's a fun ride. Especially when you like watch Breaking Bad in conjunction, or if your like memory of Breaking Bad is still like recent enough. Pretty bonkers. Let me just adjust the size on this one. There we go. I think this book does a really good job of kind of like keeping things, like scaffolding things in a way that like they're telling you right up front of like, don't worry about anatomy right now, don't worry about like proportions, sizing, any of that. Just get the motion right. Just get like the feeling of the pose. Get the like practice making like curvier lines, exaggerating those lines. Don't have like stiff straight lines or anything like that. I think that's really useful because, like, for me, because I do have experience with life drawing, like, I'm already kind of familiar with the proportions. But I can imagine for, like, a beginner trying to learn how to draw figures, I'm hoping that would be, like, a lot less to worry about, where it's like, don't worry about, like, the head is too big, or this is too big, or this is too small, or even just, like, accuracy, just vibes. Worry about the vibes, you know? So cool, let's go ahead and go on to the spine. Let me see how much time we have. Cool, we still have like a good half hour left. Alright, so let's learn about the spine. Funny, we're learning about the spine, but also I have been having back pain recently, you know, as one does after they turn 30 for the 5th time. Or rather, after being in your 30s for a 5th time. I'm 35, I'm trying to think of like, no, I'm not 150. Like, or 90. I'm like, oh, I can't do math now. Now I can't do math, man. Whatever. Okay, yeah, they talk about the spine connects the major masses, so the head, the ribcage, and the pelvis, which we've been, like, focusing on with this. Let's see. Ooh, okay, so we get some diagrams with the spine, too. I think of that meme of, like, here's your spine. What the heck? Put it back in. If you get into Kamen Rider, I feel like you'll like Kamen Rider Build or Kamen Rider Gav, since stories are good since it has bromance and Fujoshi bait. Let's freaking go. I love to see that. I love to see that. Okay, so the first one is made up entirely of straight lines. Cool, cool. Cervical, thoracic, or thoracic? Thoracic? Thoracic just sounds like Jurassic. Thoracic and lumbar. Cervical is the neck, thoracic is upper and lower rib cage. Oh no, upper, yeah, upper and lower rib cage. Then why not just say rib cage? I guess it's because lumbar still includes a little bit of the rib cage. Okay. Okay, let me try drawing this. Let me try drawing the spine. I'm trying to like internalize what it's saying, but I'm starting to find myself getting lost in the words. So let's draw a spine. So there's one line here. Actually, no, starting from the triangle. So starting from the tailbone. Goes up. And then there's kind of like a hump. I need to exaggerate these lines a little bit more. There we go. So there's a bit of a hump here. The hump is the thoracic. Cervical is the neck. And the lumbar is this lower region. And then there's an S shape to that. And let me see what this says. Spatial position of the spine. Oh, sorry, I'm reading this part here. Okay, so let me try drawing this three-dimensionally now. So it's still kind of like this, where you have like... Oh, I accidentally changed the brush. Okay, so this is kind of pointing away from us. And then there's a bit of a tilt. And this is kind of where that hump I said is. There's another one here. Yeah, at first I was like, what's the point of drawing the spine four different ways if it's kind of just like all the same shape? But there is kind of like a flow going here where it's like first getting to know like the different parts of the spine and then kind of like three-dimensionally familiarizing yourself with like how it moves across the body. Actually, you know what this kind of music puts me in the mood for? Cyberpunk. There's a new Cyberpunk anime coming out, and I'm pretty excited for it. Let's listen to the 2077 playlist. Same here, yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. We do have an ad break coming up, but instead of pausing, I'm just gonna kind of work through the ad break. So you won't, I'm gonna talk less though, so you won't be missing out on much. And the arc does kind of go upward like here. But then interestingly, it does kind of like go downward once we get to the tailbone, the coccyx. And that kind of happens around here, around the thoracic area. So you know what? I actually labeled these wrong. Or not labeled, but I drew the wrap lines wrong here. Let's fix that. Alright, I'll see you after the ad break. Welcome back. For those coming in from the ad break, I finished kind of like this, like, I'm basically just working on the spine, like understanding the spine a little bit more. Because like here we drew the spine in like a bunch of different ways to get familiar with like how it curves, and it makes a lot of sense once you start combining it with like the rib cage, because it's like it curves because it's like kind of supporting the rib cage. And then Fagubi said, because of the new anime, got this one channel called Zero Tool that has cyberpunk slang. Ooh, what is it when you when you're what is it, like you're I keep thinking of, ooh, oh no, I'm forgetting the cyberpunk slang. The droogs. I'll just look it up. There was like a really good one that just like combines all of them. Yeah, the chums. Cyberpunk slang. There was like a good meme with it, with like all of it at once. You got a delta. It's like when your choom kleps a preem night dance, but then gets zeroed, or I forgot what it was, but it was so fun. I can't find it anymore. Hello, George. Good morning, George. No, actually, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, George. Is that what a spine is supposed to look like? Where's the shrimp? You telling me a spine shrimp this rice? Chum, gonk, choom. Input and output. Chrome up. I'm trying to find this very specific, like, meme. Where it's like, my face when, you know, my choom gonks a preem night dance. But then gets dealt, or like, you have to delta. Dang, DuckDuckGo is kind of failing me. Am I actually gonna have to resort to the old ways, the witchcraft? The Google? Cyberpunk 2070 slang meme. I found it! When your choom kleps a Nova Virtue, but the Corpo Rat Netrunners flatline him before he can delta with the preem scroll, so now you got now your gonk bud is gonna get zeroed by some chromed out solo if you can't fork over the eddies. There you go. DuckDuckGo wasn't showing me this, but Google did it immediately. The only thing is, Google's also lobotomized. Have you ever played Shadowrun? It sounds familiar, but no, I don't think I have. Though Beans has been getting into, what is it? That one Warhammer 40k video game. He was playing it last night. I think he was also playing it, like, just right now before he left the room. But, yeah, he might, I think it's Darktide. I just know that you play as a Space Marine. Let's see. Say some gangsters dissing your fly girl. Just give him one of these. Start dancing. Reventide, Darktide? I'm not sure. I just know that it's like a Space Marine one. The Shadowrun games are worth? Let me look this up. Wait, I'm supposed to be studying, you guys. I'm supposed to be studying. Let me, we'll get back to this once we're on break. I'm supposed to be studying. The timer is running. Yeah, you cheeky students, you got me monologuing. I'm supposed to be looking at a spine. What the heck? Put it back. Alright. There's only 10 more minutes left in this timer, so let me just finish this page and then we'll talk about Shadowrun and stuff. I gotta focus. I want to learn how to draw a spine. Shadowrun's so good. Ah, you guys are passing notes to each other, I see. So this is the spine, but frontal view. We were looking at the back view, now it's frontal. Ooh, Shadowrun. I mean, not Shadowrun. The cyberpunk theme. This is what plays when you boot up the game, and then there's like a radio guy being like, "Reports have been heard of murders around the city." I believe this is thoracic. This is cervical. And then this is lumbar. Oh. You too, Pancakes. You too. He loves Shadowrun. It's his favorite, actually. He'll talk all day about Shadowrun. Isn't that right, Pancakes? You didn't hear him say, oh, huh. I heard it loud and clear, but maybe... He said nothing? I heard it loud and clear. Wait. What is happening? Alright, let me pause the timer. Pause. Let's try to figure this out. Audio. We're in the supply closet right now. I'm trying to figure out the audio. I did turn off a couple of things. Maybe it's mini browser. Maybe that's the reason why. Classroom? And then let's run him again. Run. I heard him say undefined, but I'm seeing that in the... Wait. TTS audio. Run again? Oh, TTS audio isn't playing anything. Okay, give me a second. We gotta go back in the supply closet. Wait, where is my TTS audio? Toggles? No, redeems. It should be under redeems. Here, TTS audio should be... SAMMI bridge. There we go. Alright, one more time. Did that come through? Oh, dang, I wasn't watching it. Okay. One more. It's still not playing, no! Dang it. Okay. We're going back to the supply closet. It's supposed to be following SAMMI bridge. Right, SAMMI core, SAMMI bridge. Run it. I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out another time. I'll figure it out off screen. Sorry about that. But I kind of want to go back to my studies. Kind of want to go back to my studies. And I'll catch up on chat afterwards. It almost looks like 2 humps for cervical. Interesting. Oh, maybe this connects to the head? This part connects to the head? This is the thoracic? So it's, wait, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Okay, let's draw the tubes for this because I'm getting confused. RTJ on Cyberpunk OST? Oh yeah. I think so. Oh, this is facing backwards. Okay. So I get, I'm getting confused because this version of it has 7 little lines and this has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me redo this. So it goes this way, to the back, down, front, down, back. This song, if you've watched the Cyberpunk anime, the first series, now that there's a second series coming out, you know this song. Not again! There you go. I always think of that one time where Altair was playing Cyberpunk and this song came on and he just started crying and crashed his car. Happens to the best of us, I would say. Okay, I think we're getting the handle on this. Though this does need to be a little longer. There we go. Oh, thank you, Ghosty. I just got a gift. Thank you. You did not have to do that. Thank you, thank you. Unfortunately, it will have to wait until I'm not up to my eyeballs in like art stuff. Like I said, I have to finish my Digimon art by the 18th. But I'm down to check it out. I'm down to check it out. I want you to enjoy. It's good stories. Cool, cool. What's the genre? Is it like action adventure? Is it RPG? Is it like, you know, like Legend of Zelda where it's like real time, turn based? Let me know. They had so much time to go to the dang moon. You're right though. You're right. In Wuthering Waves, they made it nicer in their collab. I saw that there was a collab, and it's funny because like me and Beans did not know the context, so we thought like, is there a new like cyberpunk game coming out? And then we found out that it's a Wuthering Waves collab, and we're like, oh, okay. Because also another thing that I wanna play is I really want to play Phantom Liberty. I've played the base game for Cyberpunk, but I actually haven't played Phantom Liberty yet. And I really want to. Beans has already played through it. Okay, the arcs go downward here. Oh, interesting. So the arcs go this way once they curve. Once you get to the thoracic curve. And then does it... It does! It goes back downward. The closer it is to the viewer. And then it goes back up. Oh, that's a cool effect. Okay. Cool. Okay, let me read the rest of this page, and then I think that's it for the timer. Oh, okay, so the same lines can be used to show it in profile. Oh, but without the curving lines. Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay. Oh, this goes hard. I kind of like this. Actually, let's try it out. Let's try the side profile. So these are basically the same lines for doing the frontal version, but then if we add the actual like spine. And then this one would be using more straight lines because it's side rather than trying to show the curve of like coming forward and backwards. Interesting. Oh, okay, okay. It's funny how just like lines. Oh, I realized that I'm not showing the screen. This is the same direction as like showing the spine frontally, Because then, like, you would put essentially, like, the rib cage over here. But this is, like, the side view. Oh, and that is it for this timer. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a break. This might actually be the last break. Maybe long break, actually, after this. No, yeah, short break, and then we'll do another Pomodoro timer, and then we'll do a long break. Or we might actually call it from there. But let me go ahead and scroll back up to when you guys were talking about... We also need to do Anthropium. Forgot about that. Alright, let's start the timer. Sounded like the same as Zoomer slang. The Shadowrun games are worth. Shadowrun is pretty good. Shadowrun is basically Cyberpunk mixed with D&D. Cool. Study Shadowrun. Shadowrun. I do want to try to be better about, like, just concentrating on the thing I want to concentrate on during the focus time, so do bear with me when it comes to, like, when you guys get really into a topic, you guys really want to talk about it, you're just gonna have to hold on until it gets to break time. Yeah, intentional sidetrack, streamer debuff. Spineless behavior. Let's see. Fishing can be a hobby and a job. What's the time sink on Shadowrun? Because that's another thing, is like, I actually also want to get into Destiny for very personal reasons. And like, I actually haven't been able to play any Destiny lately because of like the art stuff that I've been doing. So I'm like, I'm like looking forward to when I'm like done with all of my art stuff so I can play Destiny, but then like, that means that Shadowrun will unfortunately take a backseat to that as well. And I do kind of want to, I'm not gonna say why, but I do want to get into Destiny for like a pretty personal reason, so. Too slow. CRPG with tactics style. What's CRPG? Like, Chinese RPG? Combat RPG? I do appreciate the gift. I do appreciate the gift. Chinese? Why would you censor that? George, why would you censor that? CRPG. Oh, like Baldur's Gate 3. Computer RPG. I see. What was my first one? Like, Chinese? Because I was thinking, like, JRPG is Japanese RPG, right? So I'm like, is CRPG Chinese? Shadowrun is 100% single player and is, I don't know how long it takes, however long you want to take. Ah, okay. So if it's... And you guys are kind of comparing it to Cyberpunk. So that means it could be 100 hours, is what you're telling me. That's just the base game. Role-playing game. I love role-playing games, though. I love turn-based role-playing games. And, like, I feel like that's just me ranting about Final Fantasy VII. When they remade it, why didn't they just keep it turn-based? I love that. I love turn-based. That's neither here nor there, though. Alright, cool. I caught up on chat. Let's go ahead and play some Anthropium. World setting is very similar to Cyberpunk, but it's science fantasy to the max. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, let's continue on with Anthropium. We're on round 4 now. Whoa. What is this? It's fish! It's fish. Fish. It's glass, though. It's like pure glass. Or I'm assuming, what is this? Rock crystal, so it's made out of crystal. Interesting. I'm not seeing, like, stylistically any hints as to, like, what culture this could be from. Obviously, well, not obviously, but, like, if there's fish on it, then one that has access to river and or ocean. So maybe, like, I don't even know what continent to start on with this. I kind of want to say Europe. And maybe this is more contemporary, right? Maybe this is, like, getting into, like, contemporary times? Rock crystal. Yeah, what if we just say Rome? Maybe this is, like, Roman or something. Let's put it, like, closer to, like, 1500. Well, actually, Roman would be closer to, like, 500. So let's say 500 CE. Oh, okay. It is Roman. Roman or Byzantine. I see. Roman or Byzantine. And this is 3rd or 5th century. Cool, cool. Fish and shells are carved in relief to decorate this fragment. Fish and shells carved in relief decorate this fragment. When the bowl was complete, it may have been suspended by chains and filled with oil to use as a lamp. That's really cool though, because like I don't see too many like see-through, like even when you see glass, if you see like ancient glass, it usually has some kind of tint to it, rather like usually like blue or green. But I'm just not used to seeing like completely transparent like crystal objects. So we kind of lucked out in that regard. This is cool though. This is a Roman or Byzantine. All right, next round. Oh, okay. We have black and white. This is very ornate, but unfortunately we're not getting a lot in terms of like the detail or even the color, which can sometimes help us. Let's see. Alright, looks like you guys are talking about Shadowrun. I kind of want to say that it's like an Indonesian batik. Like I'm kind of just going off of vibes with this one. It does feel like the amount of like detail in the like skirt or garment or whatever this is, it's making me think Southeast Asian. You also find this kind of ornateness in the Americas. Well, basically every part of the world, but like there's different motifs that you'll find. So this one is just kind of like giving Southeast Asia, but let's just say Indonesia. Let's say that it's a little bit more recent. Submit guess. Oh, Morocco! A valance or valance or bed hanging. We got the time right, but not the location. We're very far. So this is cotton embroidered in silk from Azemmour, Morocco, 18th century. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Blue or green usually means a contaminant in the glass when making it. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why, like, I feel like when did they refine the process of making the glass, like, completely transparent? Because that's why I'm so used to, like... That's why I was pretty surprised to see that crystalline structure, because I'm used to it being tinted, especially if it's ancient. And I feel like transparent glass is like a more recent thing, but I could be wrong. It could be an ancient... It could be something that they figured out in ancient times and I'm just not aware of it, right? Okay, so this looks like Arabic world, right? This looks North African and or West Asian, but I'm just so scared that this is like, not scared, but I'm always like, ink on transparent or opaque watercolor. Is there Arabic on this? Because then it's like, I think this is India. This might be India. Yeah, you just realized the music? Yeah. Dang. Yeah, you know what? I think this is a Mughal Empire. Mughal Empire. So that would put this like close to the 1600s, 17th century, Pakistan, submit guess. Ooh, so close. It's Iranian. We got the time period just right though. Man with prayer beads. Dang, that's how they get you. They make you think that every single like ink on opaque watercolor or opaque watercolor on paper is gonna be like Mughal Empire, when actually it's not. Next round. We're on round 7. Mosquitoes? No, these are dragonflies. And I guess a locust? And a snail. Once again, we're early enough that I kind of want to say that this is Japanese. But it could also be Chinese. Well, the thing with Chinese is I feel like they put more emphasis on, like, landscapes. Close-ups of things like the Take Me to Snurch. I actually love that song. Thank you, Ghosty. Because it's funny, I was watching Aria VT, the Digimon VTuber, and she was singing it, and I'm like, what is she singing? Like, it sounds like Take Me to Church, but it's very obviously not. And then, like, she linked the video for it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying. I'm, like, actually dying watching this. And I forgot about it until Ghosty sent it to me, and I'm like, oh my god, Take Me to Snurch. It is Japan. But yeah, because my line of thinking was like, I feel like Chinese brushwork is more so with landscapes. That's not to say all Chinese art is landscapes, but like, I don't know, I feel like I'm used to seeing like, when it comes to like more zoomed in stuff like bugs and stuff, I feel like that'd be more likely to be Japanese. But cool. This is another, what is it? Benin City. Look, the exaggerated nose and lips. Big ol' eyes, too. Oh, wow. Look how ornate the armor is on this one. And I'm gonna guess this is brass. Yep, it's brass. This is Benin City. Our old friend, Benin City, in Nigeria. 16th... no, let's say... Yeah, let's say 17th century. Yeah! Do you think they have Take Me to Snurch on Spotify? Do they have Take Me to Snurch? They do! Wait. Is it this one? Okay, this is a nice cover, but I want to listen to the original. You know what? I just gotta go to my DMs. Just gotta go to my DMs with Ghosty, and I'll see it. There we go. There you go. The picture also kills me. Like... Oh, Arabic writing, ink on opaque watercolor on paper. We know this. We know this. We know this. Mughal Empire. Yup. Got him. The song is just in my brain 24/7. Snayman. Mughal Empire Kupo. Ready, ready, ready? Take me to Snurch. You can snark in your snipe. Take me to Snurch. It's like a snail. Okay, I knew the lyrics for this. Take me to Snurch. Lyrics. It's on genius.com. It's on genius.com. Sacrifice. Snaily. The fact that I hear this song once a week is haunting. Twice a week now. We could take our time looking at the last round because I feel like I know where that's from. The Snurch. Tell you my snin so you can snarp in your snipe. Offer me that sneathless death. A good God, let me snipe you my life. It's in the Snurch and Snail Sim? Wait, what is Snail Sim? Oh my god. This is so good. No semesters! A sim where you were simply a snail? A snail MMO? Is the sale still going? Is the summer still going? I'm getting confirmation from Beans. Unironically, a lot of fun. I love this song so much. Hello, Bear Where Bear. I too love going to Snurch. This is name end. I quoted a lot. I love that. Sale is still going till the 9th. Oh. Take me to Snurch. I worship like a snail at the shrine of your life. I'll tell you my snin so you can snarp in your snipe. Sneezes will love you if you were just a snail. He really would. Snurch. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, it's 40% off too. Alright, I'm getting it. Continue. Purchase. Nice. I got Snail Sim. And Bear, you got your wait. Oh no! Where's the window? Where's the window? I'm literally on the window. There's the timer to get back to work. That felt that felt like my own browser being like, alright, you had enough fun. You had too much fun, arguably. Let me just finish off Anthropium. And then we'll get back to studying. I forgot that okay, we'll play the office wave. The worst was I had Trapped in the Drive-Thru by Weird Al stuck in my head so bad it kept me up multiple hours. It's like is that the parody of Stuck in a Closet? Trapped in a closet and I pull out my gun. Alright, let's finish this off. This is Greco-Roman, definitely. I want to say closer to Roman, especially with that contrapposto. It's terracotta though, but whatever. Let's say right before 500 CE, before the fall of Rome. Submit guess. Correcto, except for the time period. Final score. Ain't no way that's the top 1%. I got some of them like really wrong. Ain't no way. This has to be inaccurate. Ain't no way that's the top 1%. When I got freaking like what was it? The valence like horribly wrong, you know? Share your scorecard. Liar. Anthropium is a McLiar. Alright, posted my score though. Top percent of Sunbears, there you go. That's probably what it is. I do not know as I've never heard the original. Oh, Trapped in the Closet? Maybe for the best. Like, maybe for the best. Like, it was a funny meme song, but like... Yeah. Binka genius. For a second, I thought we were still talking about Take Me to Snurch, so I was like, oh, you haven't heard Take Me to Church? But nah, it's basically the same song. It's basically the same song. Oh, Mika, thank you for showing me Snail Sim on the Discord. Snail parties every Sunday, so here we are in Snurch. I love that. I love that. Alright, it is now time to get back to studying. That was fun though. We snook ourselves to Snurch. That was so hard to say. And we finished Anthropium. So we're gonna do one more study session, and then I'm pretty sure we're gonna call it from there, so I can get some chill time in. I want to get some lunch. It is the 4th of July. Maybe Beans and I should get like vegan barbecue or something like that. Which I have there. We actually just had barbecue pizza yesterday. Vegan barbecue pizza. And khachapuri. Oh my gosh. Do you guys know like the Georgian like cheese bread with egg on it? There's a vegan version. It's so good, you guys. I'll post a picture. Bibin Tensai, and I'm not gonna say the rest of that. You know what? Last thing for reals before we get into the study session. I'm gonna post I took a picture of the vegan khachapuri and I'm gonna post it in the Discord. I want you guys to... I just like posting pictures of vegan food because I want people to know that vegan food isn't just leaves. It's also Oreos. It's also stuff that is not good for you. Like, for example, deep fried Oreo is technically vegan, but you know. Take me to Snurch. There we go. I posted it in Bear Noms. Vegan khachapuri. I don't know if I'm spelling this right. So yeah, if you're in the Discord, go to Bear Noms. You should see it there. Red 40's vegan? I don't know. I actually don't know. Cause yeah, it comes from cochineal, which is a type of bug. Did I already tell you guys about that shtick that like people are saying that like the water in New York is now so clean? This is gonna sound counterintuitive. It's so clean that there's actually like microbial shrimp in it that are able to thrive, but because there's microbial shrimp in the water, it's technically not vegan. Like, I don't know, that's just kind of funny. And then Bear Weber said, Cachaporista is a cheerleader in Spanish, or at least in Salvadorian Spanish, so I'm really confused on what you're talking about. Cachapuri is like a Georgian cheese bread. Cachapuri? Oh, that's been a thing for a while? I was not in the know. Here you go. It's Georgian, but we got it from like a vegan Armenian place. I think he's Armenian. But yeah, it looks like this. It's like cheese bread. But there's this one with the egg yolk on top. I need a better angle. I need a better angle of the dangle to show you guys. There you go. Take a look. This is Georgian Khachapuri. And we have a vegan version. Or we actually ate it already. I had it for breakfast. Yeah, it looks good, right? It tastes good, too. Damn, so if you come to New York, beans won't be able to hydrate. I'm sure there's a way. And I'm sure there has to be an exception when it comes to microbial things, right? Right? Alright. Let me go ahead and start the timer. I'm just exiting out of a lot of windows. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to studying. For those that came in late and don't know what I'm studying human figure. These are pictures of spines. These are drawings of spines, but we've been studying figure drawing. I'm trying to get better at it. I think I said before that I'm pretty decent at drawing things from reference, but I want to get to the point where I could draw people without a reference. Even though like those are two different things, but you know. Blessed like holy water for it to be vegan. There you go. There you go. We need like a vegan pope, right? But I feel like the Catholic Church already has enough schisms happening. I do like Pope Leo though. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the timer. Read through my book, and this will be the last study sesh. Okie dokie. Oh, you know what? Let's try Schism. Good song. I actually don't know the song. I just know that there's currently a Catholic schism going on because there are certain Catholics who don't like some of the things that Pope Leo was saying about anti-AI. They don't like that the Pope is like pro-immigrant, I want to say, like anti-AI. He's not perfect by any means. If you're like a leftist, he's definitely not perfect. I think in his like speech to commemorate the 250th anniversary, he did talk about how like, you know, abortion is still a sin and stuff like that, and to me that's not Gucci, but everything else he's been saying has been pretty cool. It's from Tool. Oh, okay. He's pretty cool. Not perfect, but definitely Latin American coding. Yeah, right? And it's interesting. I did talk about this very recently. I want to say like on Monday. But, thinking about like my own beliefs and my own religion. I have mentioned it before, but like, I can't just like say what my like religious beliefs are in one word. Because for a while, I would just identify as agnostic, right? Of like, I wouldn't quite go as far as to call myself a atheist. Because I do feel like on some level... Wait, let me get the spine drawn here. On some level, I believe on... Or, how do I say this? I definitely believe in like the Big Bang. I definitely believe in all of the like kind of like scientific explanations for a lot of things, but I also kind of believe in just like any kind of spirituality being kind of, how do I say this? I've summarized it like this before. Like, I believe not in God as this old man that is voyeuristically watching us from up on high, but God as a force, and that force can also be known as love. You know, and I know that sounds pretty cheesy too, but that really is, in my opinion, like the glue that kind of holds everything together. The reason why we do a lot of things is for love. And it's not always like romantic love, granted. It's not always love for another person. Sometimes it's love for money. Sometimes it's love for power, right? But that is kind of like the driving force behind a lot of things. But more recently, I've also been subscribing to this brand of this branch of Christianity that adheres to liberation theology, and this is a very, like, it has very Latin American roots. Basically, this idea of sorry, I realize I haven't been showing my drawing. This idea that it's not just kind of this liberal reading of Jesus where it's like, oh, he accepts all of God's children. Like, it's one thing to like be accepting, for example, of like LGBTQIA, but it's another to say that like in order to embody godliness and in order to embody Jesus's teachings, you have to support the oppressed, the poor, and like the downtrodden. You know, it's not enough to be like, we accept those people, but it has to be like, in order to embody those teachings, you have to work towards their liberation. So I don't know. I don't like. It's funny. Like, I always think about this stuff like in my head and saying it in my head, but then when it comes to actually stating it out loud, it's kind of hard for me to do so. I get that. I don't follow a specific religion, but I'm pretty sure there's something up there, like if it's Mother Earth or God or chaos or whatever. Yeah, right? Like, as much as I want to just call myself a strict, like, atheist, I, like, in my heart of hearts, I feel like I'm not, you know? Alright, I need to redo this. Oh wow, this is the classic. It's Macintosh Plus. So the spine goes here, or the ribcage rather, goes here. The neck. Oh, this needs to move up actually. It's your move. Your move, Kaiba. That's what I think of sometimes when I hear this song. A move. Oh, we can. Do you understand? It's all in your head. It's your move. There we go. The pelvis is down here. You connect the two. It's a little too skinny. The figure is turning out a little too skinny. There you go. It's a little too elongated, but we're getting there. And he did. He literally broke all of the law to two rules. Love God and love humanity. Allowing people to be oppressed is not loving them. And yeah, I also understand not wanting to talk about it on stream. No, yeah, like, the thing is, like, I do want to talk about it. It's just that, like, I feel like I'm not, what's it called? It sounds more elaborate in my head. And then when it comes out of my mouth, it just feels like I'm repeating the same things without really elaborating on my point. And you did a wonderful job of it just right now. Of like, yeah, if you look at Jesus's teachings, he does like not only care for and accept the poor and the oppressed, but he is fighting for their liberation. He's fighting for like their freedom from oppression, from like the ruling classes, right? And it's Jesus that I don't know, you guys tell me, wasn't it not Jesus who said that like it's easier for the rich to get into heaven than it is to, or It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for the rich to get into heaven. Which, like, that goes hard. and then people started to try and reinterpret that to be like, oh no, you see, the eye of the needle is actually the name of a gate in ancient Jerusalem. And in order to get through it, you have to take off all your bags. It's a really narrow gate. So it's not saying that it's impossible for rich people to get into heaven. It's saying that, like, you gotta give what you got in order to get into heaven. It's like, man, please. I think Jesus said what he said. Exactly. Plus, he was the one that slapped around the money vendors. Exactly. So, like, that's kind of like what I more or less adhere to. Like, for the most part, I want to say that yes, I believe in the Big Bang. I believe in all the scientific explanations for various things, but there is still a part of me that wants to believe in some kind of like higher power and or some kind of like spirituality. But it's not in the form of like traditional Christianity where it's like it's this old bearded man that is watching your every move, and if you think wicked thoughts, you're gonna go to hell, you know? You're gonna burn in all eternity for having such thoughts. Whereas people that, you know, live by the Bible but say that, you know, this person won't get into heaven because they are in a fully consensual homosexual relationship or because they changed their appearance to more closely match their gender identity. Like, to hear like God-fearing Christians say that those kinds of people are gonna go to hell is like, really? And I'm gonna go to hell for thinking those thoughts? Or I don't know. That's basically like the gist of like my belief. There we go. Kind of getting the gist of it. You know what? This can go a little bit closer to here. And heaven is on Abraham's boobies. Lamau, sorry. The boobies. It's funny because I've also taken these quizzes before of like, oh, and there's such scams too. There's this quiz I saw where it was like, oh, see what is like the closest religion to your personal ideology. It was going around for a little bit, especially on like on Instagram, and it's such a scam because like it has you go to this website where you take this quiz, and granted, like the quiz and the results are pretty interesting in and of themselves because to me, I put in like what some of my like basic beliefs are, and it said that I'm closest to like Buddhism because I'm not much for like authority. I'm not much for like yeah, like I would consider myself someone that like, you know, loves and accepts like peoples of all creeds, belief systems, and lifestyles. But yeah, not big on authority. Not big on authority. And it was like, you might like Buddhism. Or, and also be, another thing with me in religion is like, I like it when things are up to interpretation. So like, for example, I like that in Judaism, there, in certain sects of Judaism, a big part of it is debating with one another on the interpretation of your beliefs, where it's not just dogma. It's not just like, you believe this, you have to believe in this or else. But it's like, all right, let's see how we interpret these different ideas together. You know, I kind of like that. But then once you sign up for that, if you sign up for that, or not sign up, but if you take that quiz, they will not stop. Well, first of all, in order to get your results, you have to like sign up for like an account. And then with that, it's like, oh, do you want a extended version of your analysis for $5.99, one payment? And then when you like, if you were to actually try and like pay for that, it'd actually be like, actually it's $23.99, not $5.99. I think somewhere in there it says that heaven is in Abraham's bosom. Luke 16:22, and when it came to pass that the beggar died, and he was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, the rich man also died and was buried. So there you go. Abraham's boobies are the origin of heaven. Alright, I think... Let's see how much time is on the timer. Yeah, we still got 30 minutes. We still got 30 minutes. That's right, you guys get into some sweet old man boobies when you get into heaven. If you get into heaven, that is. Okay, so we've done some stuff with the spine. This birthday interpretation website was scammy like that for me. Yeah, I hate those. I hate those. Super scammy. Squishy. Diagram of suggested rhythmic curves based on the perspective movements of the spine, balancing slow versus fast. What does this say? Some experience with gesture drawing. Always trying to understand what the spine is doing. Most everything in the figure can be explained as a consequence of it. Oh, okay. Because this is doing a good job of highlighting how the spine is when you're just standing, when you're just like the standing man emoji. But when you're doing action like stuff like this, right? Then it gets a little bit harder to be like, okay, how? What is the spine doing? You're doing a good job? How dare you? You're doing a good job. I think you guys are doing a good job. What the spine doing? That's what I'm asking. Oh, wait, I think this is literally gonna tell us. I think this is literally gonna tell us right now. Center of gravity. Some comic book art is like, sir, these people don't have any vertebrae. Are you also thinking about the, was it like, it was like a Spider-Man, it was like a cover for a Spider-Man comic where it's is it Mary Jane or whoever the significant other is, and she's like just sitting holding like a cup of coffee, but her body is bent in a very unnatural way. Like I keep thinking of that. Your figure's poses it just right. Ah, okay, so this is explaining what we're doing when we have dynamic poses, what the spine is doing. That one too, yeah, where they're twisted all the way around, yeah. Let's see if we can find it, actually. Twisted spine. Mary Jane Spider-Man cover. It's not, it's one where she's like holding a cup of, I think it's this one. It's this one. But I need like the full version. Where's the full version of it? Oh, she's like holding a mug. A mug? I can't find it anymore. Is Google actually going to be more helpful in this regard, you think? Should we go to the forbidden Googles? Alright, let me copy this. Let's head over to Google. Immediately found it. It's this one. Like, at first glance, it doesn't look too bad, right? But it's also just like, it's her legs. It's like what her legs are doing. I like all of the Nightwing poses, though. Yeah, this one doesn't look bad at first glance when you look at it, but it's just like, what is happening here? She has no organs. Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh, I did see an ad break is about to start. Look up the Nightwing poses. All right, for the it's for the sake of studying, right? It's for the sake of studying. Nightwing poses, twisted spine. We have an ad break in 30 seconds. You know why? It's because they always want to show his butt. It's like the artists are always trying to accentuate his butt. So, but you also have to see his face, because otherwise how are you so sure that it's Nightwing, right? I feel like that's the reason why we see so many, like, kind of like wild Nightwing poses. Yep, like, Oh, but we don't see his face. How do we know that it's Nightwing? Like, inequality, exactly. All right, we have an ad break coming up. Let's go ahead and put you guys in recess. I'm gonna keep on drawing, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, we are back. We are back. I've just been reading up. Not looking at Nightwing. Totally not looking at Nightwing. But I was reading up on this next section about center of gravity. So basically this is kind of talking about not necessarily where the spine is going during these like really dynamic poses, but just this idea that how do I say this? So like there's like the most stable when someone is just like standing upright, they're already kind of like automatically balanced. Like their head, their rib cage, and their pelvis is pretty much balanced. But if you like lean to the side, then it becomes kind of imbalanced. But there's always a way to counterbalance it. So if I'm leaning to the side, my my rib cage is like going over to the left, but then my pelvis might be going in another direction, and my head is also going in another direction. There's a sense of balance. There's a sense of balance to it, and then this is a really interesting note that they put here. Keep in mind that a balance pose is no better or worse than an out of balance pose. What matters is that you're able to build the correct position to match your story or intention. So if someone's looking out of balance, there's nothing wrong with that, but it does kind of have to match the, like, you know, what's going on. You know, if it's like someone about to fall down, then yeah, out of balance makes sense, right? But if it's like someone just walking or someone just like, I don't know, like standing, sitting, then it makes sense that they would be balanced in some way. So let me read this part, and then we'll see if we could do some more drawing exercises. Okay. Ooh, we're getting into the ribcage and the pelvis. Okay. These are things that I have trouble with, especially the pelvis. And it looks like there's different ways to draw it. This is like, it seems like this is kind of like oversimplified ways of drawing the pelvis and the ribcage. So let's check it out. It's pretty cool seeing A and P used in art. Oh, sorry, let me pause. No, I forgot to pause the timer, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's keep on keeping on. Okay, so yeah, it looks like these are different ways to draw the pelvis and rib cage. Look for the line of tilt, and easy way to look is the weight-bearing leg. The egg shape. Okay, let's use this. Oh, I forgot to respond to what you said. So it's pretty cool seeing A and P used in art. Can you tell me what A and P is? It might have been something I read already, but I might have forgotten. Yeah, let's experiment with this rib cage. Put this in the corner. Oh, anatomy and physiology. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I didn't really learn too much about anatomy other than when I took a life drawing class in college. I actually took another one during the pandemic as well. Oh, you know what? This is different ways to draw the ribcage in different perspectives. So this looks like it's just straight on. Oh, there we go. This kind of looks like a can, so I guess like when you're just standing straight, your rib cage is kind of like almost shaped like a barrel or like a can. And then this one is more so, I do like the egg shape. There is a bit of a curve to it. And then curve like this. Yeah, my first foray with like anatomy, and I also never really studied physiology either, was like when I took a life drawing class way back to when I was trying to major in graphic design. That was one of the prerequisites, was to take a drawing, first of all, a drawing class, and then life drawing wasn't a, at least I don't remember it being a requirement, but I just found it like interesting. So I was like, yeah, let's try it out. And it was hard at first. It was difficult, especially when, if you have no concept of like anatomy at all, and then the first thing is gesture drawings, where you basically have to draw the entire like the entire like body, and you kind of just have to go based off vibes. It is kind of scary because like you can immediately tell like, oh, this does not look like the model that is posing in front of us. I thought I heard Gino meowing, but he's literally just sitting there. He's literally just chilling. But then, yeah, like I said, it's really cool to like take a oh no, that is Gino. Give me a second. Okay. It's really cool to, the thing that I was saying before is that it's really cool to take a life drawing class. Start off like not good, and then once you finish the course, you look back at your artwork and you're just like, all right, cool, I definitely improved. And yeah, even if it's not perfect, it's still cool to see. And then, wait, what's the difference between the first and the, okay. That must be super cool. Yeah, I'll see if I can find my old figure drawings from before. You know what? I think this is looking at top up, because I was like, wait, what's the difference between like this one and this one, right? I think this is like front on. Like when you're just looking at like a chest front, kind of like this, right? This one I think is like from the top. You know, like the head would be like here, you know. Because then the cylinder looks like this. And then finally, the box. Take me to Snurk, like a snail. I felt that with phlebotomy. Both are drawing, so it's the same, right? Yeah. That's a good way to think about it. You're drawing things in phlebotomy, you're drawing things in art. Phlebotomy is one of those things, cause if I'm correct, phlebotomy is like the study of blood and blood work, right? And I guess drawing blood. I always wonder if like, it's one of those things where like for many people, it's like a once in, you know, once in every couple months you have to do like a blood draw because your doctor told you to and stuff like that. But like if you're a phlebotomist, they see like hundreds of, not hundreds, but like, you know, dozens of people every single day, right? So like surely they're not squeamish to just like using the needle and whatnot. For them it's just another day. Not a study, just the, oh, the act of drawing blood. I see. But I figure it also kind of like teaches you like if the person's blood is really slow, maybe they're dehydrated, or like if it's you have to find like the right vein and or like place to like stick the needle in, right? Because it's one of those things that I feel like you don't realize how important it is until you get like a bad experience. Because I remember one time I unfortunately had to go to the emergency room. It's back when I had my gallbladder and I would have gallbladder attacks. And they could not, like... No, you know what? It was when they were putting the IV in me. Like, it was... I could never just get an IV in my arm. My veins were, like, small and they were, I guess, rolling or roaming veins. So they always had to get me in the hand, and it's really painful. Like, getting stuck in the hand is like... so much worse than like whenever I draw blood, they just find a vein in my arm and it's just so easy, you know? It's not that it is painful, like it's a pinch. It's a pinch of pain, you know? It's not extended pain. But like, oh my god, dude, like getting the IV put in through my hand is like definitely like one of the more like painful experiences I've had. Not at all. I had around 60, 90 patients a day, and yeah, I could tell people's diets with hydration and stuff. Yup, because I went to go get my blood drawn, and the phlebotomist was like, "You are dehydrated, aren't you?" And I'm just like, "Teehee, yes." Like, but I don't know. That was just kind of funny. Like, just, and she was like an older, like femme presenting person. So they were very like, they had the motherly aura. They're like, gotta make sure that you're drinking at least this many gallons a day. And I'm like, yes, miss. Alright, now I'm drawing the pelvis. Hand sucks. I would also rather go for the forearm, but it's not common, yeah. If someone ate a burger before donating, the blood could be buttery, so that blocks the machines. Oh no. I mean, I think every time I've given blood, they tell me to fast. Are those just people that, or I guess for you don't have to fast for every procedure, right? Because I'm like, dang, these people are eating burgers before their blood like appointment. Meanwhile, like, I'm over here dehydrated and because I realized they say fast, they don't mean like don't drink water. They just mean don't eat. So I'm out here like dehydrated, and the phlebotomist is like concerned for me. It's like, oh, you haven't been drinking any water, have you? And I'm just sitting there like, you guys told me not to. You guys said I had to fast. Yeah, from food. Donation is different because we don't want people passing out, but yeah, fasting is pretty normal for— oh, I keep forgetting that you're talking about donating. Yeah, I'm so used to just like doing it for tests because my doctor told me. I remember when I was in high school or middle school, I forget which one, but a bunch of kids you could do blood donation. I'm pretty sure it's high school. Because people were donating blood, but it was more so a way to get out of class. So lots of people would just go donate blood. Like, doctor, fast before blood test, so I did. Doctor, why low blood sugar? Eat a banana. But you told me to fast. But I remember in high school, a lot of people would use the blood donation to get out of class. And I remember at one point I was like interested. I was like, all right, I want to get out of class. I'll go donate blood. What's the worst that could happen? And then I couldn't. I straight up couldn't donate blood because they couldn't find my veins. Even back then, I already had the roaming veins or rolling veins or whatever. I think what they had told me though was that my veins were too small. Because I am a small gal, and even more so in high school. I mean, sun bears are the tiniest bears, am I right? But it wasn't until I think I was getting blood work done for my doctor that the phlebotomist was like, oh, you have what's called like rolling veins or roaming veins. So it's not that you're small, it's that like your veins are just like, they just like move around. Alright, let me do this cylinder. Cool. I've done both phlebotomy types before I became a nurse. Oh, cool. Candy works too, but usually just as soon as you wake up. Oh, cool. The man was a quack. Alright, one more round of pelvises, and then let's see what the timer is looking like. Oh, okay. Wait, is that 3? That's 8 minutes. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think we'll do the pelvis. We'll see if there's anything else that I can read through, and then that should be it. Drinking tons of water from 8 hours before helps the veins plump up a bit, but yeah, depending on how rolly they are, they can be hard to get. I think that's part of it too, is that I also am just like constantly dehydrated. I'm just not great at, you know what's funny is I'm gonna drink some water right now because I'm reminded of it. So honestly, I'm just really bad at hydrating myself. It's something that I kind of just grew up with. Excuse me. It's something that I just kind of grew up with, and it's funny because me and my siblings were talking about this recently. How, like, just growing up, like, all of us grew up in the same household, and we just, like, were not great at hydrating because our dad always made, like, Gatorade for us. Like, he had those, like, powdered Gatorade packets, and he would just make it constantly. And even though my dad drank a lot of water, he always, like, made sweet things for us. And I think it's because he does, like, have a literally like a sweet spot, you know, for his kids, but it's also like, oh, I want to give them whatever they want, but then they grow up not knowing how to freaking hydrate themselves. They grow up, you know, like getting into like borderline diabetes and stuff like that. So like we grew up drinking a lot of sugary drinks, and it's actually very recently that I got over my like soda addiction, because I was pretty addicted to soda up until like I want to say into my 30s. Or I want to say like late 20s. I feel like once I got to my late 20s, that's when I was like, all right, this is a problem. But imagine that 25 years of your life, you're like nonstop drinking soda. It's not good for your teeth. It's not good for your tummy. It's not good for a lot of things. And like because of that, I didn't really grow up drinking water that much. So it wasn't until I woke up like every single day, like super duper dehydrated, that I'm like, all right, I gotta like make a change in my lifestyle. I gotta drink more water. And I am trying to get into like drinking more water. I bring a water bottle with me to the office, and because I'm like drinking so much water, I'm going to the bathroom like every hour on the hour, you know, but it's like this is a good thing. I hate that I have to go to the bathroom so often, but this is in the end a good thing. Because lungs were thirsty, exactly. Mine do that too. My skin is so pale, most of the veins are visible, so the nurses are like, this is easy. 5 blown veins. Oh my gosh, yeah. Same. With the blown veins, yes. Hey, so we're gonna call an ER nurse to get a vein? Yes, oh my gosh, you understand. I understand. I understand. Most people are not gonna lie, it's pretty common that people don't drink enough water. Ah, okay. That nurse that they call, it was usually you. Ah, you're a godsend. You're the best bear wear bear. Cause I remember, yeah, when I was in the emergency room, like I needed someone to like find a good vein in my arm and just be like, please not my hand, please not my hand. Cool, we got ourselves some pelvises and some rib cages here. Alright, yeah, I think the next part I think is too much to do right now. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and how much time is on the timer? About 4 minutes. We can use that 4 minutes to, instead of studying, we'll just yap for a little bit more. And then we'll go ahead and call it. But cool. Alongside all the yapping, I did learn a lot. Actually, yeah, let's look through what we did today. We got 8 pages of drawings here. Well, one of them is just a doodle. I tried to do a doodle right before these drawing streams, and then after that was me being like, I don't know nothing about the coil method. And then 3 is where we start our lessons. Page 3 is where we start like looking at things like the big masses that this book calls basically the head, the rib cage, and the pelvis, and kind of like breaking them up into like simple shapes, getting into this idea of using like asymmetrical lines. Cute Babing Cub, that's you guys. That's what you guys look like, knife and all. And then, yeah, so getting into asymmetrical lines, trying out gesture drawings. Basically, knowing that, like, at this stage, don't worry too much about realism, getting it proportionally accurate, worry more about your lines, worry more about getting the overall flow of a pose rather than getting it, like, super accurate. Using curved lines to kind of, like, hint at or imply depth, whether something is closer or further away from you, but also the shape of the like, for example, these legs, right? What else? We did some more gesture work, just practicing everything that we had learned up to that point of just like using your 3 big masses, using the wrap lines, and gesture. Always love when the nurse is older. It doesn't bother with gloves. If I have the second, I know I'm gonna have a good time. Interesting idea, getting just the movement and pose down. Cool. Yeah. That's why, like, I think I am kind of like benefiting from like having taken life drawing classes, but this is also good for people that just don't know like anatomy in general. This idea of like when you're starting out, don't worry so much about proportions and sizing. So it started to become so my veins roll. Please check before you stick. I should say that. I like how you drew those legs. Thank you. Right? It's it's cool, right? That's I think the wrap lines are doing a lot of the work with this one of just like implying the legginess of it all. And then we played around with like the shape of spines and like how they naturally curve, ways to imply that curve as well with the wrap lines. So this is the spine from the back, here's the spine from the front. So nested in the curve over here where it says thoracic, like here, ooh. Nested here would be like the rib cage, essentially. And then the last thing that we were doing was getting a little bit more into balance, as well as how to draw the rib cage in a simplified form and the pelvis in a simplified form. Reminds you of an animation sequence. I'll see if I can find. Yeah. Send it to me. So yeah, that's everything that we learned so far. This was fun. So I do want to continue this series of just like studying anatomy with you guys on stream. It's probably going to be Saturday mornings. However, we are going to be skipping this next week because we have a collab next week. We're going to be playing Far Far West. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a collab. And then, but yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much it for today. Next week, let me see what I put on the schedule. Canva. I'll even give you guys a preview of the schedule right now. Oh, give me a second. Okay, sorry, I had to close the window because the AC is on. But okay, here is a preview of the schedule for next week. Monday, just yapping. We're probably going to be doing a little bit more of the anthropium research. Also, do you like the art, the pixel art? Oh, that's the timer. So Folk made that cool pixel art of Mr. Pancakes. And then we'll play Scriptorium. It's been a minute since we played Scriptorium. If you are not familiar, this is the game where you make medieval art out of cool medieval assets. Beautiful art, right? And then Friday is a continuation of our Digimon Adventure 02 watch along in the Discord. And then on Saturday is that collab that I mentioned. So it's gonna be Far Far West with Ghosty, who is currently in the chat, Mauser, who we've been seeing lately, and Nelly and Grits, who I haven't met yet, but well, we met through Discord, but I haven't like met them through voice chat yet, so I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, that is the plan for next week. I'll see you guys then. Oh, this is the oh, that's funny. I shut off my iPad, so that's why it's showing that. There you go, we'll hide that. So yeah, look forward to it. Today and tomorrow I'm going to be gaming with the buddies, but tomorrow I'm mostly going to be practicing my driving and doing a lot of drawing. But I'll see you guys on the Monday. So with that, let's go ahead and mosh. We haven't moshed in a minute because we were doing the watch along yesterday, and I think the day before that I was too tired to mosh. So if we have any new students in the chat with us today, we have an end of stream tradition known as our end of stream mosh pit. What that entails is that I'm just going to play some music on here. It's not always like moshing music. Like today I was in the mood for Digimon music because we were watching Digimon yesterday. But once you hear the music, go ahead and start spamming your favorite emotes in the chat, and I'm going to make your little stream avatars on the floor there fight each other. There's no correlation between who wins the mosh pit and, or sorry, how many emotes you spam and who wins the mosh pit. It's RNG, and it's not rigged. And I'm also going to be looking for a raid target during this. So once you hear the music, get to moshing. Alright? But it is rigged. It's not. It's not. All right. La la na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Baby. Alright, let's mosh. Oh, and you know what? Let me get a raid target going for us. This is the insert song for Digimon Adventure 02. I don't know how to fix that emote. It's cute. It's cute. I like it. To break up, I thought she fire. Oh, he says fighter? I thought he says fire. Oh no! I won the mosh pit. But you know what? It's no, it's not rigged. Because there's another round. It's time to go. God, Stingmon's design is so good. I'm just like looking at it right now. Oh no, I'm getting all the med packs. No, it's not rigged. It's not rigged. How much time do we have? There's still time. There's still time to prove to you guys that it's not rigged. It's not. It's time to go. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you guys. Let me drink some water while you guys mosh, and it's not rigged. Ghosty got the med pack? Yeah, let's go. There we go. See? It's not rigged. It's not rigged. It's time to go. Get break up. Atanashi power. She had to rig it to prove it's not rigged. No! No! It's RNG. It's RNGesus. It's time to go. Dun, 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 dun. Wow. Wow. Good job, you guys. I'll see you guys next week. We're gonna go ahead and raid into not a professor, also known as Nap. He's currently romancing the 13 colonies, I think. I've never heard of this game before. I think it's a demo. But it looks like you are dating the 13 colonies. Happy 4th of July. So we're gonna go ahead and start that raid. I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, and evening, and as always, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Thanks for stopping by, thanks for studying with me. Bye-bye!